you have missed cards. Whoa! From the Commander Precon decks. Whoa! Associated with Crimson Vow. There's a lot of products coming out this year. I want to talk about my 7 favorite cards, and the video starts right now.
Highest level of gratitude to our patrons who power the channel through Patreon. Check out the Patreon link in the description to learn about monthly giveaways, VIP Discord access, and even our official playmat.
Hello and welcome to the day. Thank you for spending your time with us. Welcome back to another episode of Jake and Joel Are Magic. I am Joel. We are going to go through the cards you missed. There's too much stuff flying out of Secret Lair. Whoa! Come on! Let's get into these cards. So the first card I want to talk about from the Commander Precon deck's Haunted Library. It's a 2-mana enchantment that says whenever a creature an opponent controls dies, you may pay 1, and if you do, create a 1/1 white spirit creature token with flying. This card seems really powerful to me. A creature an opponent controls dies, it can be a token creature. That's pretty sick. I mean, if your opponents are playing any sort of aristocrats or sacrifice strategy, we're going to be making a lot of residual 1/1 flyers, and that's like the floor of this card. Thalis Reverent Medium is a fantastic commander for this to go into. At the beginning of each instep, you're creating 1/1 white spirit creature tokens with flying, where X is the number of tokens you created this turn. I'm saying this immediately goes into that deck because we'll be creating them sometimes on our opponent's turn, and that just gives us extra tokens with Thalis. I really think that it works well with Teysa as well. Lots of creature tokens in that deck, and Alesh Norn. I mean, you know, if you're going to build mono white, this card would really help your Alesh Norn deck, most likely. Speaking of tokens, is Predator's Hour. It's 1 black, 1 other for a sorcery. And it simply says, until end of turn, creatures you control gain menace, and whenever this creature deals combat damage to a player, exile the top card of that player's library face down. You may look at and play that card for as long as it remains exiled, and you may spend mana as though it were mana of any color to cast this spell. So you don't even need to be playing this in like a 5-color shell, because you can use any color of mana to cast this stuff. Predator's Hour in Chatterfang, we're going to create a ton of squirrels. Play Predator's Hour. All of our creatures dealing combat damage. We're exiling cards all over the place. This just sounds like a really good deal for some value that it just becomes like a third hand. You know, you've got your hand, you got your graveyard, and now you've got your exiled cards from Predator's Hour that you can cast whenever the opportunity is necessary. Next up, I really like Sinister Waltz. 1 red, 1 black, and 3 other for sorcery speed. Choose 3 target creature cards in your graveyard. Return 2 of them at random to the battlefield and put the others on the bottom of your library. In the right kind of deck, you just have 3 of the same redundant effect on 3 creatures in your graveyard, and you're going to get it twice. The going rate for straight up reanimation, just like base level common reanimation, is 5 mana, so you're getting 2 guaranteed for this. You look at cards like Bond of Revival that see play, and you go, okay, 2 creatures instead of 3. I really like the value on that. I know Reanimate exists, and this is 5 mana, but this is more of a fun, casual card. I could see this going into a deck like Kroxa. I could see this going into a deck like Cedrus the Traitor King. I think that this could be good in a deck like that. Hey, real quick, me and Jake are working towards making this our full-time job, and you could really help us do that if you're liking the video simply by hitting like and subscribe if you're not already. Around 70% of people who watch our videos are not subscribed, and I can't tell you how far it goes if you would just click that little button down there. Thank you very much. So let's get back to the cards. Next up is Wedding Ring. 2 white, 2 other for an artifact that enters the battlefield, and if it was cast, target opponent creates a token that's a copy of it. Whenever an opponent who controls an artifact named Wedding Ring draws a card during their turn, you draw a card. Whenever. Straight up. And whenever an opponent who controls an artifact named Wedding Ring gains life during their turn, you gain that much life. I really don't care about any of the other text on this, except obviously the stuff that copies it, and that middle line. Whenever an opponent who controls an artifact named Wedding Ring draws a card during their turn, you draw a card. Play this on the Consecrated Sphinx player. Hint, hint. That is exactly where I'm going to put it. Now, this card is going to stand in for decks that don't already have a lot of good card draw. Mono white, I think this is really solid. I feel like this could really shine in a Boros deck. You know, you've got some impulse draw, you've got some looting draw in that color red already, but with white, being able to put this onto the battlefield, target the blue player, target the black player, really make sure that you can keep up with the best card draw at the table, put it on the Corvold player. That's exactly how I would use this card. Storm of Souls is a 2 white 4 other sorcery that says return all creature cards from your graveyard to the battlefield. Each of them is a 1/1 spirit with flying in addition to its other types, and exile Storm of Souls so that obviously you just can't do this over and over and over. I think that decks like Nethroi, I think that decks like Cathrall really like this card. Get all those creatures into your graveyard, just dump them in there, and then return everything to the battlefield all at once. In an ETB deck, this is excellent because you're going to get all the ETBs regardless of them being 1/1 spirits. Obviously, in a big-time attacking deck, this could be good if you have enough creatures in the graveyard for this to pay off in a big way and really grow your line in the air up to like 10 power all at once, maybe. But I really like it in a deck with a lot of ETBs, with a lot of creatures that are just being dumped into the graveyard on purpose so that then they can be reanimated all at once and get all those ETBs happening, tons of value. I think this could really be a good card. This card, just when you read it, you go, oh, yep, somebody's going to break that for sure. As long as Miragephalanx is paired with another creature, each of those creatures has, at the beginning of combat on your turn, create a token that's a copy of this creature, except it has haste and loses soul bond. Exile it at the end of combat. With Godo in CEDH, this goes infinite. The Godos just keep making more combat steps. I think that this card seems really fantastic in Winota. It's a human and it's creating copies of things to attack alongside. That could be a really broken deck for this to go into. If you run it in Obeka, Obeka's ability makes those copies permanent because they do say exile at the end of combat. Very breakable, very strong. Breathkeeper Serif is next. It's a 2 white 4 other 4/4 angel with flying and soul bond. This is the other soul bond creature in the cycle from the Crimson Vow decks that I really liked. It says as long as Breathkeeper Serif is paired with another creature, each of those creatures has, when this creature dies, you may return it to the battlefield under its owner's control at the beginning of your next upkeep. You've got to have a lot of removal to make sure that all of this stuff dies. So on your upkeep, it returns to the battlefield and it rebinds with the other creature, or you have to kill that creature in the meantime, which means when Serif comes back, it's just going to bind with another creature. It just seems like a lot to deal with, a lot of removal to get through to finally remove Serif from the battlefield. Let me know down in the comments which cards you really liked from the Crimson Vow Commander Precon decks. These just were 7 of my favorites, but I want to hear about yours. If you liked the video, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. If you want to get involved with the channel on a deeper level, go check out our Patreon. We got a lot of cool stuff going on over there. Other than that, I'm tapped out, and I'll catch you later.